Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, today we're jumping into a seriously action-packed animated narrative featuring a duo we all know and love, Motu and Patlu. But, we're not just watching a cartoon today. We're looking at this as a real case study in enduring bravery. It's about the exhausting realities of the service industry and how true heroism just naturally shines through, literally no matter what your day job is. We've got twists, turns, some pretty vicious lies, and honestly, a ton of physical comedy. Let's get into it. Right off the bat, I want you to think about this question. Is a watchman's job really just sitting on a chair all day? I mean, we've all walked past security guards at the front of buildings, right? And sometimes it kind of looks like a pretty relaxed gig. Well, our heroes definitely thought so. They thought it was their golden ticket to a simpler life. But to understand why they were so desperate for a quiet job in the first place, we got to look at the absolute chaos that drove them there. So let's rewind and trace this journey from the very beginning. Section 1. Rescuing Puppies and a Vicious Lie. Let's see exactly how a simple good deed turned into total chaos. So, the story kicks off with a classic, textbook act of heroism. Motu and Patlu spot these helpless little puppies being relentlessly harassed by a gang of crows. And without even a second thought, they jump in. Motu steps up, saves the pups, and hands them off to Patlu to get them to safety. Meanwhile, Motu takes it upon himself to just chase away these aggressive birds. It's a completely selfless act, right? But you know how the saying goes, no good deed goes unpunished. The leader of these crows, this really nasty character named Kalia, does not take kindly to being chased off. Feeling totally humiliated, Kalia vows to take revenge on Motu. And the crazy thing is, he doesn't use physical force. No, he uses something way more dangerous. He uses misinformation. Now, what's really interesting and honestly truly malicious about this is Kalia's tactic. He spreads these horrible lies. While Patlu is off safely feeding the puppies milk, Kalia swoops down to their frantic mother, Sundari, and feeds her this completely fabricated story. He says he was angry. When the babies started crying, he picked them up and threw them into the river. I mean, just think about that for a second. He manipulates a panicked mother by painting Motu, the guy who literally just saved them, as a total monster. It's a brilliant, but incredibly cruel narrative twist that takes this from a simple rescue to a super high-stakes conflict in seconds. And man, the chaos ramps up instantly. Believing the crow's lie, Sundari fiercely and, let's be honest, understandably, attacks Motu. Motu is absolutely terrified. He's totally confused, running to Inspector Chingham for help, with no idea why this dog is out for his blood. But the big turning point comes when Sundari finally looks through the window of Motu's house. And what does she see? Her puppies are perfectly safe. They're being cared for. The truth finally comes out. She realizes those crows completely played her. Actually, scratch that, she realizes she almost hurt the very people who saved her pups. She's incredibly apologetic, goes after the crows to punish them, and we get this really sweet, grateful reconciliation. The moral checkpoint here is just great. The truth always reveals itself eventually. But wow, what an absolutely exhausting ordeal for our duo. Section 2. A new career. Security guards at Shanti Niwas Security. After running for their lives from an angry mother dog, it makes total sense they'd want to change a pace. And this brilliantly illustrates the hilarious contrast that really drives the rest of the story. After barely surviving that whole puppy ordeal, Motu is very clear about his expectations. He wants a job where he can sit on a chair at a gate, eat samosas, take a nap, and just collect a paycheck at the end of the month with zero drama. Sounds nice, right? Inspector Chingham hooks them up with a gig at a high-rise. But the reality? Oh, it is the exact opposite of their dream. Instead of sleeping, they are immediately thrown into climbing endless stairs, hauling insanely heavy parcels, and wrestling with chaotic pets. Their dream of a quiet, lazy life is completely shattered on day one. Section 3. The demanding residents. Let's break down exactly why this new job is draining the life out of them. Their first day is basically a rapid-fire sequence of comedic nightmares. First thing in the morning, they're ordered to deliver this massive, heavy parcel. By midday, the building secretary has them running his personal errands, literally watering his plants, and manually pumping the water tank. Then, in the afternoon, they tried to take a tiny 5-minute break to play some cricket, accidentally break a window, and get forced to pay for it out of their own pockets. And by the evening, they are dragged back outside to walk a hyperactive dog that is practically water skiing them down the street. They are utterly overworked, severely underappreciated, and their patience is stretched to the absolute limit. But the absolute peak of their suffering all comes down to one number: 10. During that morning delivery, Motu and Patlu were forced to carry a huge box, which they were strictly told contained fragile items, up 10 full flights of stairs. Why, you ask? Because the building's elevator was broken. Of course it was. And to add insult to injury, when they finally drag themselves to the 10th floor, panting and totally exhausted, does the resident say thank you? Nope, not even close. She actually yells at them for taking too long and threatens to dock their pay if anything is broken. Talk about the ultimate thankless service job. Section 4. Thwarting John's robbery. Because despite the exhaustion, true heroes always step up. So the crucial point is how they react when real, actual trouble arrives. Enter their old rival John the Don. He sneaks into the building pretending he's just there to buy secondhand goods. And get this, he actually tricks an exhausted Motu into helping him load the items. It's wild. But as soon as Motu and Patlu realize they are, actively aiding a robbery in progress, all that fatigue, it just vanishes completely. They don't look the other way. They snap right into action, alert Inspector Chingham, and team up to catch John and recover all the stolen goods. Their vigilance and that core, enduring bravery just absolutely shine through the exhaustion. And the resolution of this little heist gives us arguably one of the best moments in this whole explainer. I absolutely love this quote from the defeated thief, John the Don. He says, "Next time you work as security guards in any building, please tell me. I will never come there to steal." It adds such a great touch of humor, right? But it also proves a massive point. Despite being pretty terrible at the mundane, everyday chores of being a watchman, Motu and Patlu are incredibly effective at the actual security part of the job. Their bravery is just an absolute deterrent to crime. And finally, the community realizes what they actually have. The very same residents who were bossing them around all day long suddenly see their true value. They praise Motu and Patlu for their heroic actions and, get this, actually reward them with a well-deserved salary increase. It perfectly wraps up the narrative arc. It shows us that hard work, vigilance, and fundamentally just wanting to help others, even when the job is tough and super thankless, ultimately gets recognized and rewarded. Which brings us to our final thought. Through vicious lives, angry dogs, 10 flights of stairs, and a literal robbery, Motu and Patlu prove that enduring bravery isn't tied to a specific title. It's really about what you do when the moment calls for it. True heroes step up wherever they are. So I want to ask you, how will you help someone in your community today? Take that inspiration with you. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.